the Northeast Delta Human Services Authority is set to offer a 2-day assist training involving suicide. Devontae Martin is here with the details. Devontae?
Jennifer, the workshop looks to equip participants with the skills and confidence they need to reduce someone's risk of suicide.
Anytime that we can save a life, we're interested in doing that.
The Northeast Delta Human Services Authority is set to offer their 2-day assist training later this week. The Applied Suicide Intervention Skills training will be May 23rd and 24th at Mount Zion Baptist Church in Monroe. The training will cover identifying risk factors, warning signs, and guiding individuals to support services. Regional Administrator Amy Floyd highlighted the need for the training.
Louisiana does experience a pretty high rate of suicide. It's the 14th leading cause of death in Louisiana. We did lose 50,000 Americans last year, according to the CDC, from death by suicide.
It will also include a mix of training presentations, group learning, and practice scenarios. Floyd says that the assist training was thoroughly tested before planning the event.
We did send our staff through it primarily as a learning experience about 2 years ago, and I've heard feedback from our staff and our clinics across the region that they have used these skills, that they're able to use them simply and effectively.
The workshop will be open to the public for anyone 15 or older. We'll have a link to register online at knoe.com. Jennifer?